Welcome back, everyone, from the lunch break. Shall we continue, Council? Council, if Usher can bring in the witness, we will proceed. Thank you very much.
I, Sillah Samateh.
Nte Sillah Samateh.
Sillah Samateh.
I, Sillah Samateh.
Nte Sillah Samateh.
Nte Sillah Samateh.
Do swear.
Mbenkali lako.
Mbenkali lako.
I'll speak the truth.
Mbeto nyale fola.
Beto nyale fola.
the whole truth,
toña damma
Tonya damma.
and nothing but the truth.
nte fen fola men manke toñati
De fem fola jang mem manke tonyati.
So help me God.
woto alama ala yendema
So alama ale ndema.
Good afternoon, Mr. Samateh. Welcome to the TRRC.
Itinyang Mr. Samateh andung ibismillah TRRC.
I take it that you want to testify in the Mandinka language.
Nganyinta ko belafla kela sedan rodi ni mandinka kangolla.
yes
May I advise that you sit closer to the microphone and speak into the microphone so that we can all hear what you say.
Insini ya maro dino la pour ya microphone ni katala do mandi saje mbesa mo ikamemfo.
Also, perhaps you should allow for at least 3 seconds between speeches.
Andung hanin kabi be dandar la pour ila diamol ni nte diamo da janni be jabiro kala si second dantan di janni na diamo saje te sela nyokang.
So that yeah, you've spoken far in advance of me, but it's okay. So, Mr. Samateh, thank you for agreeing to testify before the commission.
Mr. Samateh inimbara bake pour ila songola pour kanela kuma kan di commission nyati lingola.
Prior to you taking the stand, we had an understanding that you would start your testimony today and you would finish tomorrow.
Janning be siyonin damu janni be sila ngayin fahamle ko la sedan do ni isa damu no bi bari isa labang sama.
Could,
yes
is that an arrangement that works for you?
Fo fanna ni nga ko lande nyamene fo be reate to bang.
yeah that's okay that's fine
Thank you again.
Inumbara ko tanke.
You are called to testify about certain events that took place at the NIA headquarters.
Ye kumande jam pour ye sedandiro di ko dol la men yalon ko iketa NIA la korda bado.
At around the year 2010.
Sangola mem 2010 wato ma famolati.
Concerning the allegations of drug dealing allegedly in the name of President Jammeh.
Kasuji nin kolla me alon ko tumirol la me alon ko drug kolam andung memba kono walam Yaya Jammeh President Jammeh.
I'm not sure whether it is like that. What I said was the issues he is to testify about concerns actual drug dealing allegedly committed in the name of Yaya Jammeh.
O aka men fo wolam nyindi ko tumiro la emella wolam droku ko ti me yallon ko ye tumiro di ko Yaya Jammeh wolam bulo sota ko nyin konole.
Okay, let me break it down.
Thank you.
The allegation is that Mr. Esa Baji, who was then serving in the Gambia Police Force, was dealing in drugs, and yourself rather were dealing in drugs in the name of President Jammeh, that Jammeh gave them the material to sell. That was the accusation. I am not suggesting that that was the truth.
hakato akamem foten wala nyinti ko wato esa baji atelem police la nyaton ko ti jang ye nyin tumirolu foko ate esa baji anite albe drog julaya la no tembo badu albe o drog nyin tamandi kan Yaya Jammeh toyala wala keta nun tumirote akama fo lem ku sotori mutide ama fo wolem toñati bari wala keta kala amiroluti ye mem fonon ateluma.
And that was the reason why you were taken to the NIA.
And la sabu yal samba NIA.
So we want you to testify about that issue and some of the other things you saw happen at the NIA while you were there.
And silam belafla yela sedandiro nyatilindi wo fannala anin ko dol men yalon ko inya sedi atala membe keri nun NIA je o watola.
Are you ready to talk about them?
Pareta la bam pour ka diamo ko la fannala bam.
Ade.
Yes.
And I want you to reassure us that you are comfortable and ready to testify?
lafta yen la mani andi nyin ko e be parere na pour yela sedando nyin ka damuta
Ambe pareri.
Yes, I'm ready.
Thank you very much.
mbara bak
So before you start,
janni ba damuta la
I wish to remind you that it is a criminal offense under the laws of this country and also indeed under the laws of this particular commission to provide false testimony.
anen kabi belafla ke hakilo bulandi nyin ko nyin bankun kanjang nyi mu loi tinyalti pour yo kuma fo me alon ko kuma soto balo lem loi ye loi tinyala wodi anding nyin commission fana nyati lon hanin kabi kar kuma di me alon ko aman soto be mu loi tinyalti
And also to lie on the oath is also another criminal offense.
hanin kabi fana pour ka kuma fo me alon ko aman soto memu faniyati o fana mu kula di me alon ko o fana mu loi tinyalti.
Do you understand that?
Ya faham la bang?
Ade.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mbara.
What are your full names, please?
Itoni kontongo dum.
Silaba Samateh.
Sillah Samateh.
What is your date and place of birth?
E wulu sango ani wulu da mintole.
Boda Mbuluta Badibu Sali Kenya.
I was born in Badibu Sali, Kenya.
1965.
It was in the year 1965,
20 April.
20th of April.
Thank you. And where did you go to school?
Yara karam munju maldo.
That was Sali Kenya Primary School.
I started at the Sali Kenya Primary School.
Then several primary school in Gambia.
Then I went to several primary schools in the Gambia.
Could you give us a few examples of those several primary schools?
O primary school jama oli tara damento foisi misalol dinna bang juma nin jumalam karam mun juma nin juma.
Well, Seattle, because my father was a civil servant.
There are many, because my father was a civil servant.
Zodolfono Farafenye,
I can name some. Farafenya was one,
Kalinding,
Kalinding,
and Kerawan.
and Kerawan.
Okay. And where did you do secondary school?
Yela secondary school karam mo nyinge mintole.
Crab Island.
Crab Island School.
When did you finish Crab Island?
Crab Island karam mo nyi jembang sanjumala.
No, Manje Bang, then I left Mbota Banko Kang.
I didn't complete Crab Island School, then I left the country.
Go where?
Tara minto.
Dara Tubabudu.
I went to Europe.
We are in Europe. We are in Tubabudu.
Tubabudu banku juma, fanna juma.
Banku Jama.
Many countries.
Where are you settled now?
Saintang ibesiri mintole.
Holland.
Holland.
Which city in the Netherlands?
Se Holland tundu juma.
Zandam.
Mindo?
Zandam.
Zandan.
Zandam, right next to Amsterdam. What do you do?
Ika muneke?
Business.
I'm a businessman.
Sometime in 2010,
Wati la memu 2010 sango konoti.
you were invited to the police for questioning.
Ye komandi police to la karola puru nyini karol ni jabiro suku initema.
In Kotu police station.
Walam kodu police station already.
You were later taken to Banjul police station.
Biriye bondi je narane samba Banjul police station oro.
That happened true?
Fo ketala bang fotonya.
Namiro to Ketale.
Yes, as I am thinking, I think those things happened.
So can you tell us what happened to you after that?
Siranga fonye bang fo isa fona nyamuna narana ke o kerun kola.
Na wati dantanke masuta kilinke Kotu police station.
I spent one night at the Kotu police station.
Then masuta dantanke Banjul.
And I spent some few nights at the Banjul station.
What were you taken to the station for?
Ye samba police station oro mundali lela.
Koko ning Esa Baji, anin mo kote onlu, eka drugsole wafi.
They said myself and Esa Baji plus some other individuals were involved in drug peddling.
What kind of drugs?
Drug sifa juma.
Drugs, I understand wale mo call it drugs, but iman drugs sifafo.
What I understand is they just said drugs, but what kind of drug that was not named.
Did the police tell you the type of drug you are suspected to be selling?
Fo police oli ya fo ne bang ko isobita mun drug sifa la ko ikata ibe men jula ya kamba.
Nyaketa nene mo kalamuta nene mo remember that.
If it happened, I cannot remember it.
You should allow for the interpretation so the speeches would not overlap.
Si wato di kana sor la do man disa je dia mol nying ikana sele nyokan.
And what happened during that arrest?
Mune nata nake biringo mutaro nying keta.
After the arrest, I was there for some few days. Then we were released.
Were you charged with any offense?
No. Even if there was a charge, I wasn't aware of it.
And what happened subsequently?
Afterwards, I went home, going around with my normal business.
Did anything happen subsequently, say 6 or 7 weeks after this incident with the police?
Fo in police la ñoo soto waro ñu kola ko kerin kola lokun woro fo lokun woro wala kola fo ku nara na kele ba
Kuolu be kelale bar comme kuolu nankamo la keola wato nankamo men kada je mo ntolu fono la because ntolu remember no.
Yes, things happened, but what happened I cannot narrate I cannot narrate all and the times they happened.
Were you rearrested?
Inata ne mutale kotanke ba?
Inata na mutale koteke?
Yes, I was rearrested again.
And how soon after your initial release were you rearrested?
Fo ay wati jellelta brin ye bula fo inata ne muta kotanke ay wati jellelta.
Nto wato remember no la koteke sai.
I cannot remember the amount of days that elapsed now.
In your statement, it says about 6 to 7 weeks after your previous arrest.
Ela kuma kan membe safirin ye mem foje wala mindi ko lokun woro fo loko woro wula inata kabri inata ne muta kotek.
Would that be correct?
Fo be tilina la bang?
Finance keno?
Yes, that could be possible.
No. I am looking at your statement. This is the statement you provided to the investigator.
Nte kontanta bake imman fe onferende remember no menketa no.
Juma ma remember etele ma remember fo juma.
Ko nte fa un kontanta bake imman fe onferende remember no menketa no.
Well, I am very happy because I cannot remember a lot of things that happened some time ago.
More for that.
Juma ma remember, itele ma remember bang for lawyer.
Nko ntele kontani tabake imman fe onferende remember no mentambita.
Well, I am very happy because I cannot remember a lot of things that passed.
Say it in English, you speak good English.
Eko jumale ma remember, itele ma remember bang for council le ma remember. I am very happy.
Men remember no menu tambita nung.
Itema menu remember no bang.
For inte.
Inte. Nkontani tale.
I am happy.
Remember no menu tambita nung.
Say mbele ma jumale man remember. Itele ma remember for legal counsel le ma remember.
Inte ma remember.
Mbole fokang ite ma remember men tambita nung. Iko hani.
Ngani de. Nko aka kembulu kontano lati imman kolu remember men tambita nung.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He said he is happy. He's unable to remember those things that happened.
Exactly.
Did you tell the investigators that it was 6 to 7 weeks after your arrest?
Oh, yenyi fo kisir lali enne ko atata ko nyindara fo logun woro wala kabri la mudaro nyin keron kola.
Aseke no?
It could be possible.
But you don't know.
Bari malo.
Ma remember.
I cannot remember.
Muroto. But aseke no?
I cannot remember, but it could be possible.
Are you telling us you don't remember what you told the investigators?
Fo e kamem fanya wala mnyindi ko hakilo ma mutano yemem fonna kiskisir lalia ba.
Ni ma fo kon hakilo ma mutano e atara ko wala be safarin ko no wala fo woto aseke no.
I'm not saying I cannot remember, but as far as what is written, that's what is said, then that could be possible.
Do you remember what you told the investigators?
For hakilo kori.
Do you
Hakilo ya
remember
mutale yemem fo kiskisir lali
what you told the investigators a few weeks ago?
For hakilo sa muta no la bang yemem fo kiskisir lale lo kundan tan koma bang.
Intulo ya moy. Abi mum foka.
If I hear what is being said,
Did you tell the investigators that about 6 to 7 weeks later, I was arrested in my compound in Brusubi at 5 p.m.?
For any for kiskisir lale ne bang lo kum woro fo lo ko woro wulan kola biri yemure narani muta bula kabri narani bula narani muta kotanke ila kordaro membe Brusubi bang for yol fo na kiskisir lale bang.
Yemmutale wati dantang after Yembula, but I'll due time more remember exactly.
yes, I was arrested, and after I was released, I was arrested after some time. But the exact time that elapsed is what I cannot remember.
Who arrested you on this occasion?
Nyin siro jumala nate ne no kan ke muta.
Menu duntai ya ngamen kalamuta wale mu Alaji Mor.
Those who came to my home that I can remember was Alaji Mor
And Lamin Dabo.
and Lamin Dabo.
Mo kote be bantale mam menu long.
Some were standing outside, but I don't know them.
Did you know these two individuals previously?
Yimmo fulol fo ye lonne no ban ko man to ba.
Alaji Mor and Lamin Dabo, did you know them before this incident?
Alaji Mor ani Lamin Dabo fo ye lonne janni nyin ko nyimbe kala ban kane no kan ke muta ba.
Alaji Mor ngo lonne before, but Lamin Dabo more long before.
I knew Alaji Mor before, but I didn't know Lamin Dabo before.
How did you come to know that the second person who entered your compound is Lamin Dabo?
San ya lon
Lamin Dabo.
ye nyil lon nyaade la nyimmo fulan jaw nyim mendunte la korda nyin kono Lamin Dabo lam.
Lamin Dabo lo dulato malon katel mo Lamin Dabo ti bare nga time jamal ke NIA Lamin Dabo be jele no wato len natalon ko nyene mo Lamin Dabo ti.
At that instant moment, I didn't know that he was Lamin Dabo. But after spending some time at the NIA premises, that's the time I came to know that this man is the man called Lamin Dabo.
So tell us what happened when they came to arrest you.
Silang afonye ka muna keta biri nate no kan pour ke muta.
Yem mutale yen tara so kono ko they have ye order le soto malika fa nyaari for executive order to arrest me Kansamba my NIA.
When they came to my compound, they said they had an executive order for them to come and arrest me and take me to the NIA compound.
Did they show you the order?
Fo yo order nyin memo kan nyin de fo ya itandila la ba.
Hani.
No.
Did they tell you what an executive order was?
Fo ya fo en ni ko executive order mo wala muntinu ba fo yo fo en ba.
Mo fanam fonye.
No, they didn't tell me that also.
Did you, at that stage, did you have an understanding of what an executive order is?
O tembo la fo anata ne la kalamutan rotol ba muna mu executive order ta koto mu munati.
Hani mo long.
No, I didn't know that.
Yet you decided to go along with them?
Anin kabi inata na song inita.
Man choice soto.
No, I had no choice.
Do you know the authority on which arrests are made in this country?
Fo nyimban kun kan yalon ne mutaro ni bita mo mutala. Kan woni aka bo min tolto.
Mol be lomba ba ke nun de bar nga lon ko nun NIA sembo soto kata mol arrest. Andon alaji mor ngate lonne before kabe NIA dokol.
Well, I don't know where most of those orders come from, but I know that at that time the NIA was very powerful, and I know Alaji Moore being an NIA operative, maybe that's why he was able to do it.
Can you tell us at that stage how you perceived the NIA powers? How you saw the NIA powers? You said they were very powerful. Explain what you meant by that.
Hanin kabi fa isa fo no nye o wato la ite kundingo NIL ba ko wato e sembo be bakele ito lo sembo NIL lo sembo nyo wato ite yaje nyaadi le ite le ila sembo nyi bankun kanjam
A sembo si fa nyon de la dunia bolo kono nene maje.
the type of power they wielded, throughout my life in this world, I have never seen anybody wielding that kind of power.
Well, you've traveled extensively, so we'd be interested to hear your views as to what you have just said. What kind of powers did they wield, which made you say that you've never seen this anywhere in your life?
Itamata bakele dunia kono. Silang lafta ya fonye. Bawo ko ila sembo nyongo ye mensoto. Inana ma nyongo je dunia kono. Silang lafta yolto fanundinye. Bawo itamata le dunia kono, ye dunia itamata le dunia kalamuda yalo na membe keri dunia kono. Lafta ya fonye itolla sembo nyite yaje nyadi le imbanku kanu.
Because na arresolu jele banku kotenolu kan ntamata damen tolto.
Because I've seen how people were arrested in other countries that I visited before. But you cannot just come after somebody in his compound without any single document. You didn't tell that person anything. Just to come and tell that person that we are here to pick you up, and they said you should go.
Police security officer.
After I stood at the window, I looked around. Both in and out of the compound behind the house were all full of security officers. This is why I said that kind of arrest, as far as I have traveled, I've never seen any kind of it in this country or anywhere else in the world.
And on that particular occasion, did they tell you who issued that executive order?
Executive order jumale ya di.
Executive order.
At that instant, I didn't even know what's an executive order.
But did you subsequently come to know what it was and where it emanated from?
Bari nyala ba onyin fo inata na lonne munem executive order di andung abota min dole fana.
Ngalon ko la men na birim futata NIA.
I knew it after I arrived at the NIA in their leader's office.
And
Luis Gomez.
And what did you understand it to mean?
Yemune faham akoto mumenti.
Koto muneti wala president le ordered to arrest us.
The meaning of it, as I understood, was that it was the order from the president for me to be arrested.
So kindly tell us what happened when you went with the officers to the NIA.
Sinanga fonye bereng ini nyin dokula NIA dokula libulate no kan itata yesamba NIA.
When I was at the NIA, I cannot remember exactly whether I met Esa there or whether he met me there.
Which Esa are you referring to?
Esa Jumala.
There's one sitting right across.
Esa Baji.
And which Esa Baji are you referring to?
Esa Baji Jumala.
The commander of police.
He was the commander of the police at that time.
Is he known by any other name?
Jesus.
But in any case, your suggestion is that Jesus was also brought to the NIA on that occasion. You don't know whether you got there before him or not.
Jesus memu esa bajidi atafana ya nati nunjele NIA ka fuitela taraje bamfatile taraje baro mansane yema.
Yes, I don't remember that.
Was Jesus or Esa Baji the only other person who was brought to the NIA in connection with this issue?
For ate Jesus memu esa bajidi for ate dronna moti yemennati NIA jeto pour nyinin karola ka sujini nyin ka choki nyin ko la nyum nyin ko ti drok.
No, because nte menje wulungo wala mu esa baje after lem nata moiko Kulite Mane was there and Pamatar Seka was there.
Now, that day it was only Esa Baji who was brought, but later on I came to know that Kulite Mane was there and Ikaninyuma and Pamatar Seka also was there.
Do you know a person called Nyima Sise?
For more tolo na baika of me Nyima Sise.
Nima Sise.
Nima Sise.
Excuse my mistake. Was Nima Sise also there?
Nima Sise fa fana benu jela bang.
Man Nima muto lungo de.
Nima was not arrested on that day.
After lokung or tili dantan, malon tili jelu, but after tili dantan Nima muto.
I cannot remember exactly how many days, but it was after some days or a week maybe that Nima was arrested.
So here you are at the NIA. There was also Esa Baji and Klute Mane. And what were you being investigated for?
Silang ifelenjang yesamba NIA ining Esa Baji anung Klute Mane. Silang itarta ke kisi ni munela itarta mune nyini ka ibulu.
Yente nyini ka menna. Wala nyinti fo ndole ka wafiro ke president e bang.
The question which was posed to me was whether we are the people who sell on behalf of the president.
Sell what?
For drugs.
Drugs.
Was it framed that way?
Ya kuonyi ya nyini karo nyilandu wala nyama bang.
Or was it framed differently?
Foye kuonyi nyini karo nyini kadi nyado wala nyama.
Were you asked whether you are the ones selling drugs for the president, or were you asked whether you are the ones selling drugs in the name of the president?
Fo ye nyini ka nyame wala nyindi ko fo itele ka droko wafi president wa bang fo itele ka president droko wafi president o toyala.
Iko ndole ka drugs o wafi president o toyala.
What they said was that we were the people who sell drugs in the name of the president.
Thank you very much for that clarification, because that is important. And who was doing the investigation at the NIA?
Silan jumala tarta nu nyin kisikisiro nyin ko nyin kisikisikan NIA.
Marcham.
Who else?
Ani juma?
Omar Cham, I remember at this moment.
At this moment, it was only Omar Cham whose name I can remember. But it was a panel, not only Omar Cham. And Alaji Mor was also sitting there.
Who else was sitting there?
Alaji Mor.
Alaji Mor.
Yes, we have two names.
Yes, these are the two people I can remember.
Lamindabo.
He goes and comes.
Was he part of it?
I cannot say exactly, but he comes in and he goes out.
How frequently was he coming in?
Well, it was on many occasions that he goes out and comes in again.
Numo Kujabi?
Numo Kujabi do.
More Kujabi, as possible, but I don't remember.
It might be possible, but I cannot remember.
In your statement, you said as follows. Perhaps maybe I should just rephrase this question. On the first day you were arrested, where were you taken?
NIA.
NIA.
Did you spend the night at the NIA?
Me personally, I'm not aware of that.
The question is whether you spent the night at the NIA on the first day of your arrest.
I cannot remember exactly where I spent the night, but when I woke up, I saw myself at the Mile 2 prison.
What happened in between?
I cannot remember anything that happened.
When was the last time you were conscious about your surroundings and what was happening?
What did you malay bote fan kalama Dandang wala je mungkule fana be kiri tarta kiri nu ila dandang wala barabaro la je biri bote fan kalama
birim botam fan kalamuta
ani janniye boy fan kalama wato men ye muta yalo ye muta le ye samba jannin kolu be filile ma foyena e fanje mail tu mune be ke kan nun idandangola ibenu min tole ani mune be ke kanje
what
was happening around me.
Omar Cham
I can recognize Omar Cham. He was there.
I
had one thing which Alaji Mor also uttered, saying to him, leave him.
But apart from that,
apart from those two things, I was not aware of anything that later happened. I just woke up the following day and saw myself at mile 2.
We would come back to that. When you face this panel, what did they ask of you?
At that place, there was no questioning there.
Because NIA.
Because I discussed with them myself before they took me away from mile 2 to NIA.
I am referring to the first day. You were arrested and taken to the NIA. And you had to face this panel. And you mentioned 2 individuals having been present.
Omar
Cham and Alaji Mor.
Omar Cham and Alaji Mor.
But you cannot remember whether Numo Kujabi was there or not. During this period, what happened in that place? They accused you of selling drugs in the name of the president. What happened there?
At that moment,
what I understand at that moment was that when they said that I sell drugs in the name of the president,
they said
it was Esa Baji, Kulute Mane, and Pamatar. These are the people who bring the drugs to me.
Yes, and then?
That's the time when I told them that I am not aware of and I don't know anything about any drugs.
I told them Omar Cham
That was the time when Omar Cham got up with insulting my mother. Plus a lot of other things that he said. Words that I cannot repeat here.
So that
was the time I was removed away from the panel. They took me to Luis Gomez's office so that they can talk to me.
Was Luis Gomez part of the panel?
Luis Gomez.
Luis Gomez, la office of the panel balalede.
Luis' office is situated just near the panel.
Luis Gomez amantara sirinje.
But he was not personally present at the panel.
I may remember.
What I can remember.
So what happened when you were taken to Luis Gomez's office?
Silang munana nake beriye samba Luis Gomez la office okono.
Omar Cham nata koteka ani mofula.
That was the time when Omar Cham came again plus 2 people. He
told
told me what we want. If that didn't happen, What we are going to do to you, you will never see your family again.
So wato Omar Cham,
At that time, Omar Cham, he was having something in his hand. He sprayed that inside the room. That's the time when he went out.
How many of you were in the room?
I was the one sitting in the chair. The three of them, how they went out of the room, that I cannot say. I'm not. They went up to the door, and that's the time when he sprayed this thing inside the house. Then inside the room, that's the time when they went off. What I initially thought was that maybe he's spraying the room because of mosquitoes or to refreshen the air in the room. That's what I thought initially.
But
from that moment, I became unconscious. I was not aware of anything else afterwards. Till the following day, when I woke up and saw myself at mile 2.
When did you remember this?
When I saw myself at mile 2 the following day.
You see, that is not in your statement. In your statement, you said they were asked about the drugs transactions. We were later taken to mile 2 where we spent a couple of days.
Here
I know whatever I'm saying here is the truth.
Are you suggesting that whatever you may have said outside may not be the truth?
Maybe they can say that there are certain things I jumped or I didn't mention in that previous statement. But whatever I am saying right now is all the truth.
Yes, but I find it strange that you could not remember that the room was sprayed with some substance and you could not recall anything else until you woke up at mile 2 prisons. It is quite strange that you cannot remember that fact when you spoke to the investigators.
Bring a bottle of fen kalamuda kotange fo samo inata kalamuda ifan fe ko be mile tule andum imo woto fo na kisikisir lali.
It is quite strange.
That's why I said maybe I can add to what I said before, but right now whatever I'm saying here is true.
I am not disputing the truthfulness of what you are saying. But I have to warn you that it is a criminal offense to lie under oath. It is also an offense to provide false testimony to the Truth Commission. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Good. 5 of you, or in fact, yes, 5 of you were in that room when the room was being sprayed. Were you the only person to remain in that room?
This is why I said how the others went out of the room that I didn't understand.
Of course, you said Luis Gomez was in the room.
Eko Luis Gomez abenum bunga ni kono la photo nyanda ba.
Yes.
And you are sitting on the chair. Where was Luis sitting?
Luis atabenu sirin mintole.
He was sitting in front of his office.
Well, in his office, he would have the door right in front of him or on his side.
Oto nabal office ko na be ala bundani ngaba nyati ndala bundalla waranto ala bundaya tarala karanta wala.
True or false?
Yes, true.
In fact, you would be closer to the door compared to him.
Yes.
And he was sitting on his chair when the room was being sprayed.
Yes.
And the room was sprayed. All of them left the room. And you lost consciousness. You who was closest to the door.
Because Luis Gomez la officer to benchole beje membe bunda bala.
Because maybe that might be said, but Luis Gomez, in front of his office, there was a bench in front of the office there.
Officer kono.
Inside his office,
bunda,
which was close to the door. But how the others left the room is a mystery to me.
Anyway, let's leave the point. The commission will examine the issue. And would make its own findings with regards to that. A few days later, you were taken from mile 2 and taken to NIA. Correct?
Yes.
What happened there?
There was another panel.
Who was there? Who were the panel members?
Ato kamol leji baro mol mol remember ikono alon ko esa be jele pamatar seka be jele kulute be jele and alaji mor fanam be jele.
Well, those people I cannot remember all of them, but I knew that Esa was there, Kulute was there, Pamatar was there, and Ikani Juma, Alaji Mor was also there.
Of course, those you named were suspects. It's only Alaji Mor who could have been a member of the panel.
Yes, true.
Who else was there as a member of the panel?
Omar Cham.
Omar Cham. As I said before, Lamin Dabo was there. He goes in and out.
And who else?
Remember.
There were others whom I cannot remember now.
Do you know Numo Kujabi?
Numo Kujabi
Numo Kujabi long.
I know him.
Was he present?
Honey.
No.
Luis Gomez, was he present?
Luis Gomez
Honey. No.
You see, in your statement, you said they picked me up from mile 2 and took me to the office of the late Luis Gomez at the NIA.
Yes, tala Luis Gomez la office kono NIA.
Where I met Alaji Mor, whom I knew.
Damento Alaji Mor taraje yemel long.
Lamin Dabo. And late Numo Kujabi.
Aning tala Numo Kujabi yo fanan taraje.
All seated.
Ibebe siring.
Is that true?
Omu numo amu ala tondi nyina office kono baro manke paneloti.
That was Jumala office Okono.
Atondi Luis Gomez.
That was in Luis Gomez's office, but that was not at the panel.
Thank you for that clarification. Tell us what happened there.
Inumbara ba ke elo senandro silanga fanya ba muna keta jeto.
Awala mnyintiko iko yen accused men na so ilafta alon na membu tonyati.
What they said to me there was that the allegations against me is what they want to know, what the truth is.
And what else?
Ani mun ko tan.
So nata fo ko nte men long membu tonyati nte mantara drugs wa afila and mantara drugs wa afila president.
What I told them there was that I am not selling drugs personally, and I'm not selling drugs in the name of the president.
And nene man drugs wa afila dunia balu kono.
And I have never sold drugs in the whole of my life.
At that stage, did Luis Gomez say anything to you?
O tembola fo Luis Gomez kuma sota dala ba men foye ba.
Seke, but more remember.
It might be possible, but I cannot remember.
Did you tell the investigators that he said he wanted to use you as a witness?
Fo yenyim fo kisir lalen nan ko alafte muna fan ila keke bankola sedo tiba.
Umanke olungo konokti.
That did not happen that day.
When did it happen?
O keta wati jumalla.
Keta ngalon sinya fulanjang o sabanjang. That
happened during either the third or the fourth time I sat with them.
In your statement, it appears as the second meeting.
Ila kuma kan safari ngoto ay tandi je ko keta bem fulanjangol.
That also could be possible.
So which is correct?
You
just told us that this event happened on the third or the fourth meeting.
Keta meeting nani nyao meeting sabanya ko meeting nani nyao la
ngani kalamuta ko ngani remember ko aketale de ku sotori ngolem.
I can remember
fulanjang o sabanjang but ku sotori ngolem.
I can remember that this happened, really it took place, but exactly whether it was the second, third or the fourth meeting, that's what I cannot exactly remember.
What else of significance happened on that day? On the second meeting?
Munku kumala keta je kotange meeting fulanjango nyin lungo nyinna.
Kuku mal men keta je wala mnyinti ko Omar Cham bejele.
The significant thing that happened on that day also is that Omar Cham was present.
Wala ya tandin nako. Lafita memmo ele ibole fola.
He's the person who told me that you are going to say what we want to hear. If you don't say that, there is nothing in the world which can take you away from this place. If you think that there is something which can take you away from this place, that goes on along with very nasty insults. And he went out.
When this was happening, who was present?
Laji
Mor, as I can remember, was standing at the door when this man was saying some of these words.
And what else happened that day?
Kujama se keno bar jama fanan beje foni afota len sari mem bar nyamam fom te kujama remember no.
A lot of things happened, but I cannot remember all of them. Maybe if they are recounted to me, I might be able to remember some of them.
Was anything done to you on that day?
Honey.
No.
Did they ask you to do anything in particular?
Fo ye kanindro kela la bang ka kuke bang.
Kanindiri jamal le ketante la ka kufo.
A lot of things were attempted for me to talk and say something.
What was it they wanted you to say?
Ilafta tolafta purite munefonu.
Lam nyindi ko itol yeb men samanan tolukang fo nde son wolula.
That is that what they alleged against me, I have to agree to what they said.
On this day, that you were in Louis's office,
lungo men na itarta non Louis la office kono
be it the second,
fa be kala lum fulan jangol tiba
the third,
lum saban jangol mbang
or the fourth
fo
meeting,
lum nanin jangol mbang
did Louis tell you to do anything?
fo Louis ku sore la bang akoye menke ba
Louis Konyele ko,
What Louis said to me was,
wolem nyinti ko lafte tala as a tondi sede pureke mansa kundala sedoti.
we want to use you as a state witness.
I want kute ibondi no la jang.
If not, there is nothing else which can take you out of this place.
And then what happened after that?
munana na ke wo korin ko kerin kola
O diamo e wati jama ke janimbe sonna.
Well, we had a lot of talk before I will agree.
Manke sinya kilenti, manke sinya fulati sinya jama.
In fact, it's not one or twice. It was a lot of times that they said this to me.
But on this particular occasion,
bari ni lungo nyinna
did Alaji Moore say anything?
fo alaji moro kuma soto la bang ay mem fo bang
Alaji mor ka kumol men fo wolem nyinti ko kana sila fenna fente la jang mbe janne.
Whatever Alaji Moore said was that, don't be afraid. Nothing will happen to you as far as I am here.
In your statement,
ila kuma kan safari ngoto
this is what you said
a felenten yemem fo je mina wala fola
that Alaji Moore said,
ko alaji moro ye wala fo
and it was in Wolof.
surwa kan wa fota walto
And quote,
mina wala fola
déglul lu ñoo wax bu baax.
Listen to what we are going to say.
Gudul lool.
It's not
lu dul loolu du baax ci yow.
If that's not the case, it will not be good for you.
If you don't, it will not be good for you.
wala nyindi ni mo wo ke ata bede yaleto
That is what you said in your statement.
wala kuma kan woti yemem fo yes kuma kan safari
sotota baro mu ku labangol leti.
That happened, but those things happened at the end.
In your statement,
ila kuma kan safari ngoto
you said it as this is what happened at Mr. Lee's office on the first day you went there from Mile 2 prison.
ko nyinam kudi men sorata Luis Gomez la office kono kabo lum folo nyinna lum mena ye bonda Mile 2 ke nati Luis la office kono
Finance keno baro fana mu kuma sotoringol.
Yes, it could be, but that's also true.
So it is not wrong, as contained in your statement, that this happened on your first trip to the NIA from Mile 2.
amunta unyum wora nyum kula de me alon ko ku sotori ngolem kay lu kabriye bondi Mile 2 ke sambanang NIA kul men sotori je law telefolo signa foloni
Yes.
And you are not disputing that this is what you said to the investigators.
andu hanin kabi imam balang ko nyin kuma ka men kare jang nyinam kuma de me alon ko yola fo na kiskisir lali
Yes.
And how did you respond?
ya muna kere la jabir dati
Guys, okay.
I said to him, it's okay.
Did you ask him a question?
o ya nyinin ka rola la ba
Ani olod lato manyin ka fenna.
No, at that instant, I didn't ask him anything.
So did you agree to tell them what they wanted
silang
to hear?
fo inata na sonne bang ka kuma fo itol lafita pour ka même moy itulola ba
Keta after Safoko, keta after Karijama.
That took place after many months.
In your statement,
la kuma kan safari ngoto
you said you responded to Alaji by saying Lumaham.
iko ye jabiro ka alaji la wala nyindi ko ye mellon
Is that true?
fo mu toñalti bang
Nanse keno.
Yes, that could be possible.
I'm not talking about possibility.
bon tra diam kan kula ka fo ko wasi keno de
I'm talking about what happened.
mbe diam kam menno wala nyindi ko menketa
Tell us what happened.
a fonye menketa
Men keta anteto be remember no, but ko mense keno mbole remember no, mbole fono.
I cannot remember all that happened there, but what is a possibility, what possibly could have happened is what I'm alluding to.
Did this happen?
fonye keta le ba
Sekeno.
It could be.
So you have no recollection whether it happened?
Munde hakilo te femmano la ka foko fu aketale ba.
Ani.
No.
Good.
Nimbara.
And you went on to say,
Ani ka bi tentenda ka foko.
Alaji Moore said,
Alaji Moore ko.
I know your entire family.
Nyela dimbayal belonne.
I did not want you to suffer.
Andum malla fi yebata.
That's true.
In which context?
Mung alhala kamma, nya kamma.
Najuma nyama.
Alhala juma kamma. Ko sorotale.
Sototale.
Yes, that's true.
What I found strange is that you could remember Alaji's response. But you could not recall what you said to elicit that response from Alaji.
Ofanam sekeno to nyati because ndefana hakilo nyimanke bi kuta manke kununkuti sanji jama komalem.
Yes, that could also be true. But these things didn't happen today. It didn't happen yesterday. These happened many years ago.
And under treatment for good 7 years to forget what happened.
And I went for treatment for 7 good years so that I can forget what happened to me.
That under treatment
Because I knew if I hadn't undergone that kind of treatment, I would not have been sitting here today to talk to you.
Panelo kana ajeko kule beje se mem mabono o kule beje ntete mem fono la barin se men remember no mbole fola bar adiata mfana mfon en ko menu tambita nung ntebe nyina la jamal because ndata treatment la wole kan.
Well, let the commission not see that I'm trying to hide certain things. No, things that I can remember, I will be able to say those things. But I personally went for treatment so that the things that happened to me so that I can forget.
The commission respects the fact that you have undergone treatment. It is not the intention of the commission to cause any re-traumatization of anybody. But all that said, whatever coping mechanisms you have, the commission respects those things. But we have to ask the right questions in order to elicit the truth from witnesses. And the commission should be provided with enough information to be able to distill the wheat from the chaff. And we have to ask the right questions in order to be able to assess credibility of witnesses. So, on that particular occasion, who else said anything about what would happen to you if you do not cooperate?
Marcham.
What did he say?
He said a lot of very hard things to me.
But before Omar Cham, your statement, it says as follows. Then Numo Kujabi said to me in Mandinka, Mr. Samateh, ni lafita ila Kairola.
If you want peace for yourself,
Nyinu, ye mingfo, ye woke.
What these people tell you, do that.
Did that happen?
That happened really, but it took place in Numo's office.
What position did Numo hold at the time?
What all Numo? Mumakama le babul jeto.
Alonko. Imanyina telebe kunti yalaje.
If I can remember properly, I think he was the head of the whole institution.
And in this statement, it looked like this is one transaction.
You
have Omar Cham.
Yeah, Omar Cham Soro.
Luis Gomez.
Ye Luis Gomez Soro.
Numo Kujabi.
Ye Numo Kujabi Soro.
Alaji Moore.
Ye Narana Alaji Moore Soro.
All happening, all in one place.
A baby dinkira killing all.
With you.
Nibe Nyokang.
Has that ever happened?
For Nana Ketalaba.
Honey.
No.
Then why did you say this to the investigators?
What I say, Munaya Sabu Yin Kumakon from Kisikisir Lalia.
Afanase ke, but ma mirako nene sita me alon ko ngari member nyul bebeje.
It might happen, but I cannot remember exactly a sitting where all these people were gathered.
But it's kind of strange that a particular transaction, a particular story is narrated in the statement wherein the participants have been identified and all the things they have said in response to statements made by others.
But akata jakali kuoti sidula kilingoto amuliata wolela de ko sidula kilingoto nyimolu be siring be kumakangulu fokan anin jabirolu mennu fanalu be kekan wo kumakangulu to amulunta ko be keta dinkira kilingol to nya kilingu nyama sidula kilingoto
in your statement.
Ila kumakan safari ngoto wala bije.
Yet you cannot tell whether this thing in fact occurred.
Andun silang ita fono la fo nyin ketale bang famanke.
Or you cannot remember whether you told the investigators.
Andu hakilo fana mamutano fo ite fangole ya fo na kiskisirlali.
Alon ko kiskisirlali mem fo nde kumo fo kiskisirlali ko ntele ya fo.
I know that whatever the investigators wrote down is exactly what I told them.
And what I am trying to drive at is which version is the truth. What you are saying on the oath and what you told the investigators, which you now say represents what you told them. Which version is the truth?
What I am saying is that maybe I will add more things to what happened, but I am not trying to decrease or reduce anything that happened.
I'm not talking in terms of adding or reducing. We are talking about whether particular events actually took place.
If it is something that I stated, then it is quite true.
The statement suggests that you said it. Is it true?
Yes, then it's true.
So when you told us that this has never happened, all of you together in one place, then the two are contradictory.
Remember and nyada lu fana manjama fana remember enga tera ko ntela fuko asotale ko mol bebe nyimol bebe sirin jele oto fana sotale.
Then there are many things that I cannot remember exactly, and the faces also I might not be able to remember all of them. But if I said, if it is me who said that this happened, then quite true, it has happened.
The longest service detainees in NIA premises.
And I can also state here truly that I was the longest serving detainee at the NIA premises.
That is what you think.
What I think. Namira Road.
Yes, that's what I think.
But I can tell you that that is not correct.
So at the end of the ko kujama beje mta no lang kungo kono. Because mbejele nothing less than 5 to 6 months.
I was there nothing less than 5 to 6 months, but there are a lot of things which I also cannot remember.
The detention register of the NIA suggests that you are there for a much lesser period.
NIA register ni NIA la register ni me tandije wala nyindi ko itarta Morocco no je fo wati jang.
No, amunta NIA la register ni itande ko. Ite wato memfoteng. Ite la register me itande amawo wato si.
Oman soto. Namira Road.
That's not true, according to what I can remember.
We can only tell you what the records show.
Ntolsi memfona wala nyindi safaro e me itande.
On this particular occasion, you said Omar Cham again barged into the room and told you something about Europe. What was it he said?
More remember,
I cannot remember that unless you remind me.
Did he threaten you at that stage?
Between me and Omar Cham, every day he threatens me.
Did he tell you that you think here is Europe, here is Gambia?
Yes, he said things like that to me.
What else did he say?
He threatened my wife,
even my own child,
and my child.
What did he say?
They will take my wife upstairs and they will do anything that they want to do with her.
Was that on the same day when you met this group, or was it a subsequent day?
More remember.
I cannot remember the exact time that was.
Would it be correct to say on the day he threatened you and told you that you think here is Europe, here is Gambia, did he threaten you with death?
More than that even.
What did he say?
He said that they will cut me to pieces and throw the flesh into the sea. In the soccerways.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yes, exactly. Either in the sea or in the soccerways.
And when he said that, did any one of those present respond to him, or did any one of them say anything?
In
If I can remember properly, Alaji Moore was there and he said something to him.
What did he say?
And Alaji
Moore also insulted the mother's insult.
And then what happened? Could you tell us what he said? We want to understand the context.
What
Alaji Moore said, I cannot repeat that. He uttered nasty insults which were on the side of the mother.
In your statement, you said Alaji Moore said He said to you,
akoy ko
sit down.
si
He won't do anything to you.
ata fenkelela.
That was all you said.
Yes, that also happened.
And then what happened after that?
Munenata nage o ko kering kola.
I remember there was another particular day. He took hold of my wife's hand, and climbed the stairs up with her. That coincided with the arrival of Alaji Mor. I explained the matter to Alaji Mor, then Alaji Mor ran up the stairs to follow them.
But before that happened, did Omar Cham say anything about your wife?
Omar Cham, kuma sota tale bang ay memfo ila musola kuoto bang.
Yeah, a lot of things. He said a lot of things. And I can say between me and Omar Cham, every day there is a problem.
Kindly tell us what he said regarding your wife.
Kuma fonya bang ay memfo kasuji ning ila musola kuoto.
I want you to tell us.
He said a lot of very nasty things. Many hard words.
Tell us what he said was going to happen if you did not cooperate.
I don't like to repeat some of those words.
Tell us what you can say.
No. No.
In your statement, you said as follows. The following morning, Omar Cham and Lamin Dabo came to pick me up from mile 2 and took me back to the NIA.
Omar Cham and Lamin Dabo osamo somandai natani no kang mile 2 ke samba NIA.
Was that true?
Yes.
They also went to pick my wife from my residence in Brusubi.
Yeah, that's also true.
Omar Cham took me to a separate room upstairs and said to me,
Omar Cham narana isamba bungo do kono santo ay nyimfoye.
Do you recall that?
Yes.
What did he say to you?
Ay muna foye.
I want to jump that area.
We would give you a paper to write it down.
In Dutch, not in English.
In Dutch, but not in English.
Mr. Witness, you are fluent in English as you are fluent in Dutch.
Sedo, tubabu kan asenea tema ko Dutch kan asenea tema.
Well, I am fluent in speaking, but I cannot write English.
Okay. After this hearing, you will sit with one of our investigators and you would write it down. You would say it in English and the investigator would write it down and you would sign it. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah.
On that particular occasion, when Alaji Moore ran upstairs, Omar Cham had already gone upstairs with your wife. What happened next?
It's only Allah who knows what happened in that room.
You see, Mr. Samateh,
Mr. Samateh,
it is very important that we have truthful, absolutely truthful testimony. Because, I mean, people's liberties, people's reputations are at stake on the basis of the testimonies that we receive.
Molla baluo molla fan soto balia mo soto ga soto jang ni sede andiro ka men soto nya tiaral si nyati ngola jang.
That's why we have to receive absolutely truthful testimony.
Wala asaba kumaya purunga sede andiro tonyari ngo soto jang.
So I just remind you of that fact.
Wala asaba mbe hakilo bulandila ofannala.
That let's keep it absolutely truthful.
Nga katanga tonya soto membe tilinna.
After your wife went upstairs with this person, Omar Cham,
Biri musu aning Omar nying mo ikafme Omar Cham na selata santo.
Alaji Moore rushed upstairs.
Alaji Moore tariyarin kya selata santo ikabule nokang.
What happened next?
Mune nata na keta ke kotenge.
Men keta jente molong.
What happened in the room there, I am not aware of.
Omar Cham ye nyine fonte ko. Lafita memo ko. He's going to abuse my wife and rape my wife.
What Omar Cham told me was that he was going to abuse me and he will rape my wife.
He's going to abuse my wife.
He's going to abuse my wife and rape her.
And of course, you were concerned.
Amunta ko ni narni isula.
Very well.
And what did you do when you heard that threat?
Silang biri yemune ke biri yo maslango moy mo musilandir kuma ko nyum.
Alaji Moore borta kan santo kajibe fo ay mem fonte fo wala be caring or wote caring.
This is why I informed Alaji Moore and he ran up the stairs to go and investigate whether he is carrying out his threats that he uttered to me.
Did you see Alaji Moore thereafter?
Fo inarna Alaji Moore jele ban ko caring ko la ko tek.
Alaji Moore fana metere janami nan kan duma.
Yes, Alaji Moore also took some time upstairs there before he came down.
And what happened when he came down?
Munena nage bringa jida nan duma.
Akonya no abe sirin santole but two stala.
Then he said to me, no, she is sitting upstairs, but nothing has happened to her.
Did he say anything else?
Fo kola kumado fana soro la ba même fo ba.
Konya no mbetar la janne folo two stetar lala.
He said, no, I am here for the time being. Nothing will happen to her.
Good. But did he say anything about Omar Cham?
But fo kuma soro la bang ay même fo Umar Cham la ko to ba.
Alon ko inte diamuta Alaji Moore Omar Cham ka menke aka fo nyele maharal madam timo.
I know whatever I tell Alaji Moore about Omar Cham, what he tells me is in wall of wait. I will go and talk to him.
Alaji Moore fana inga kuma fa Omar Cham la ko saja ay banendiroke ay tanoma.
And also, if I say something about Omar Cham to Alaji Moore, he will utter a nasty, modest insult and go after him.
Tell us what Alaji Moore was trying to do with regards to you in that particular situation.
Silang afonyem famfange aning Omar Cham Alaji Moore atarta alafta kamunake ite kasujini ite la kuola o watola.
Alaji Moore ntoli ngalon ne family alon ne since before.
Alaji Moore, myself and the family knew him since before.
That is an important fact. Thank you.
But
the question is, what was his objective at the time with regards to you? What was he trying to do?
It was just that let something not happen to me which will be very bad.
So he was trying to protect you.
Yes, in other ways.
He was also trying to protect your wife.
So fanamfo?
Yes, I can say that.
So perhaps, Mr. Chair, maybe I should just end it here. It's 5 minutes to 5. So the witness can go and sort out that issue with the investigators. He would write, he would tell the investigators.
But I think I answered that just now.
But you did indicate that it was many, many things that were said.
Yes, it happened many, many times.
In all fairness,
what he said, the meaning of it is that he will personally rape my wife and bring others also to abuse her.
in all fairness, that was the answer I was looking for. But in your answer, you suggested that more was in fact said. So we'd be interested to hear, to know exactly what was said as far as you can recall. Noting this threat, this ugly threat that he's just said.
I yemem foten say ila besulari wala lonnanu bari wayri iko kuma jama le fotaje men musulandir kumoluti anin atam ay mennu fo alafta wolle lonnanu wala na ayo beko katu ni musilandir kuleti me ya lonko akumayatel pour même fota kono ay long.
So if you comfortable saying them,
okay.
You say them. It's your choice. You are just being given the opportunity to write it because you did not feel comfortable saying it.
Akobari hanimbi natara hanimbi ila miraroto isi fono kumakangotole ya fo idala abete ata bari natara hanimbi akole yate bulule ita fono la woto hanimbi wala na aynyim foko asike fenti isemen safe
nsafo non dato bari man la fika dimo la fankan fale ko sanji wara wala ndeka balu borol anu anibi nka borol leta.
I can say these things verbally, but it is something so painful that it's just going to be insult. I'm going to insult myself, and it is going to be very hard for me because for the last 7 years I was living on medicine, living in treatment, and I'm still taking medicine to treat myself. This is why.
Like I said, only say it if you are comfortable saying it.
Well, na nyum foko natra isafono but nita fono la fanang.
Safono.
Are you comfortable saying it?
Yes, he said he can say it. I can say it.
Are you comfortable? Are you okay with the fact? Well, you just said you were on the treatment because you wanted to forget this.
Back on already. So man la fe ku janting kono koteke.
Yes, wairi koibo boritalla udalilo le ya sabu ay nyim foko puru akko kana lafa ila dimingo kan wala na ayofo. But what the witness said is also that as far as I am in the middle of it now, I can say it.
We don't have to, or we would not want to compel you to say it. So say it only if you want to. It is sufficient for us that we have evidence of the threat of physical violence of a sexual nature against your wife. It is sufficient that we have that record.
Amuntan solata men na jang wairin telbe sede nyiningole la fitale akwo sede ya saharingo yetarambulu nse men safe me ya lonko akumakango bebole itele fongo la karola wairi ya fo itele nyala pour nyin kamala amari pareta kujawul men kala men fo silandir kumolu to wala nan sulata alonna ka kumo soto fongo la men seke ku soto nti nse men safe na kumakango lukono
safo no sign.
Now I can say it.
You're welcome. Proceed.
Akoto bitong isitente.
Ya marcham ye ayna muso muta abulola birinna be lorin banta.
Marcham took hold of my wife's hand since we were standing outside.
Na muso mbulo ndimo ben na muso bulo kono.
My child's hand was also in my wife's hand.
No me yalonko amambo nyimbanko kan abate jang or that moment afama be detention.
A child who was not born in this country, the father being under detention at that time, he snatched my wife's hand out of the child's hand. took her upstairs.
Namuso tat habulu jele for good 5 hours janning alaji mormina.
My wife was with him there for a good 5 hours before Alaji Maur came. This is why I said that. Whatever happened there within those 5 hours, I don't know and I don't want to know. When Alaji Maur went into the room to fight to look for my wife, he found her crying. This is why, to utter certain things here, I am sitting with a lot of pain every single day. Because that woman, a lot of things happened to her, a lot of things happened to my family. I when sometimes my child is lying by my side, Omar Cham will come and snatch the child and take the child away. A child who is 4 years old.
Excuse me, Mr. Samateh, could you kindly talk to the support staff? Are you comfortable proceeding? You're comfortable?
Comfortable.
For certain?
Sure.
Proceed.
So,
that happened many, many times. I've been with them for quite a long time. What they wanted me to say has never happened, and I disagreed with them. Whatever they are doing to give me pain, they always do it to my wife and my child. And that happened to me many months. The child was not used to my wife, so Awa brings the child to me every day.
Omar Cham kamuneke ngatara laftantora la I didn't know mutambulu ayasamba santo akonye itenjela sign koteke.
What Omar Cham does, if he wants to make me angry or to make more pain on me, he will just come and take the child and tell me, you will not see this child the whole day. What happened to me? The statement takers just had a little bit. They had something which was not much, because I didn't want to say all at the time. If I want to say all, it won't be good. This is why I didn't want to sit down here, because if I reach certain level, I will say everything. A lot of things happened to my wife, and a lot of things happened to my child.
Mr. Samateh.
Mr. Samateh.
That is the reason why we have the TRRC. So that we know the truth about what happened in this country. A lot of terrible things have happened that should not have happened. And we sit here every day and hear the most gruesome stories about things that have happened to our brothers and our sisters. Unfortunately, we have to do this. If we don't, there won't be any healing in this country. There won't be any correction of the terrible and ugly things that happen in this country. If we don't do this, there won't be any reconciliation. If we don't do this, there won't be any justice. We are sorry you went through terrible things. Thank you for your willingness to share these terrible stories with us. We end it here for today. And we come back tomorrow. And I encourage you
to
say as much as you believe is important for us and the whole country to understand and know the truth about what has happened. All we are looking for is the truth. Any help you can give to bring out the truth would be more than helpful to this process. Over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Council, and thank you, Mr. Samateh.
Inumbara Council, Inumbara Mr. Samateh.
Just what the Council said, I just want to emphasize that point, to reinforce it.
Council ye men foten sayin lafta wole bambandila pour ka sembentu ya.
We are here to provide you an opportunity,
Ntel bijanne pour ka silo yele iteye,
just as the act establishing the TRRC has indicated or instructed us.
ko loi me ye TRRC londe wo loi ye kangonin sembo men din tolula ko nyanta tamandila nyamin.
I would from time to time remind witnesses that it says very clearly in the act that we provide you an opportunity to relate in your own words your account of the violations and the abuses that you suffered.
Wolem nyinti ko sarto me yadin tolula wolem nyinti ko woto mo mondi nina ta sede yaro la jang isi kuma kangolu fo kolu men yalon ko leketa nyanta tinyaluti kole ya kolu menu lata ite mari kang idunta kolu menu kono ifango isisi ya sata ko akete telela aketa nyaming ni ya sata ntolie bitung amunta lua meyeti RRC londi kayo sembole dintol fanalla mbewoto nya nyiningule silo kanteng wolana lafita momondi nata jang menketa ya sata nyenka keta nyaming.
You have been victimized, allegedly. You and your family have been victims of NIA actions.
Ye mantora jawo lete kang ye mantora jawo la ila dimba ya lu fanan kamme ya lonko NIA do ku bunda la molu wolle yo bara jawo lu lete kang.
We would need to know that. The country needs to know it to try to correct what happened in the past.
Lafita lon nale andun la longo dalilo momenti wala nyinti ko nsi ferol ni silo luta me ya lonko wo nyanta tinyalu menu ketanun kunun nsi silo ta me ya lonko lebe tonya ni tilngunati la ka sabatindi.
We would need to know that, but also respect your privacy.
Nyanta wolon nale barbitum nge ibu nya fanan ila fonko kan ila kullo nyanta maralale.
There are lines that the TRRC is not going to be crossing as we exchange ideas with you. We hear your testimonies.
Mbela sedero lamoy kante nyamin bantambilo do lu bijele men yalon kon telefonalu tewol takinola wala pour ka sawngolula ni tela kachani ndia molu kono pour nyin kamala ngela kullo bunja nyamin.
You are really helping us to fulfill this provision of opportunity for you to tell your account.
Ibe makoy kambakele pour ka o kangoni wo silo tamandi ye sembo nin kawmen din tolula pour mbewo sabatindi la nyami amunda itebe makoy role di kan tolula pour ka o do koke.
But as I said, we are also trying to help you. We understand there's a painful experience that you had gone through, very difficult to recall or to relate that.
Ngalonko edunta kukole mbale kono andum burka sika sata fana ngalo akole yata wala nyama bari bitum wala nan telefona lefta ya aitandina nyama me yalonko aketa nyame mpurunga kukoyo sotoje ngalodula koyri sotoje wairi mba anyi mukuleti mbe kibaro le buntunkan.
We will continue our proceedings tomorrow, and we hope that things would calm down a little bit, but it is really to help you out. Help us, help you out as well. You wanted to say something before I close the meeting for tomorrow?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Just along the lines of what the chair has just said, there are some red lines we do not want to cross.
Bantambilo dolu bijele meni ya lonko kayo le fo red line to bantambilolu mfanalu mampare ka sawulula.
In your statement,
ila kumakan safari ngokono
in paragraph 4,
sapana ni njango
you stated as follows.
yenyin kumakangol le foje.
Fortunately,
menketa kunyi nyari ngoti
no form of maltreatment was meted out to me, and none of them have ever spoken harshly to me except Omar Cham and Numo Kujabi.
Mo nene man tora kulante kang wo bengoto ne andu mo nene man kukolen kenaje fana na manke Omar Cham ti ani Numo Kujabi.
I was allowed to use my laptop and my 3 phones.
Yambula purunga na laptop o ngari a do kundi ani na telephone sabolu.
You confirmed this to me in our earlier meeting.
Yenyi ifango yin tonya yandi nteyenne na bem fololuto.
Now you have confirmed that you have not told us the things that have happened.
Bari silang amunda fintitale ko dolu ketaje imangulu fonyenung wa wuche wala.
We proceeded on the basis of what you put in the statement and what you personally told me in our pre-hearing interview.
Amunta kumakango lumenu be safari nyen kaito bala mbe tamakango kumakango lela aning ye kumakango lumenu fonye na sidula follow watu mennie nyoje nkachata.
Now you telling the commission
sai afelenti ibenyina fokan commission ngoyen
that your wife and child
ko ilamuso anidingo
were occasionally being taken away by Omar Cham
watini watu Omar Cham kana ake bondi bala ke samba
in order to put pressure on you. And that may amount to some form of psychological torture. That is not something you had told us before. For us to proceed very well tomorrow and to help us avoid any landmines, I would encourage that you talk to the investigators or myself about some of those things you held back and kept them away from us. So that we are better prepared to deal with this issue. And to ensure that we have the whole truth. And nothing but the truth. But in a way that is not harmful to the victim. Because as it is now, you have moved from not being a victim to being an actual victim. So I suggest we proceed accordingly tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. And that victimization did not stop with you, but with the family as well. We are going to pursue that and not, as I said earlier, crossing any red lines. And the TRRC Act is provided us with that thing. If there are things that you could not, I must say, in public, at a public hearing here of the Commission, we have a way of having that as part of the record. But I think it's absolutely important that you come out and tell us exactly what abuses you endured from the NIA.
ye to nyafo bari bitum fanan men ya lon ko ite banke no la jama ko no asino ase fonon to len nyaado nyama katum be nyoma ko la yem ma ko intol fanaliyete ma ko bari bitum nyimu kuleti me ya lon ko mbe nyantan na kato dango kelale pour mbe damen walin kan nga futa woto satara mantora jawlu menu latete kan abesi banken salon aketa nyamin katun telbe siri mbe o to nyale kensun kanyo kanjang.
Well, thank you very much. We will resume our proceedings tomorrow, 10 o'clock.
Mbe numbara la bake bitu mbe tenten na kuola sinin somanda talantang wuli hawato.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.